This is Aimee Rayner's second year sketchbook for the Biophilic Living and Urban Foundry Live Brief. My first set of research was looking at the company websites to see what I would most be inspired by for this project. One of the quotes I looked at was living more closely within the natural world. The next bit of research I looked at was how to bring art into urban spaces, helping the natural environment, but also encouraging healthy well-being. This trend follows through into lots of research journals and magazines that are in the library at the moment, so I've taken use of those. Site-specific research for the features of the Gower has helped me to really focus on what is local to us. Artists like Martha Ellis have helped bring art and installation onto the beaches, into wildlife, and that is an idea that I'd like to follow through. Thinking about that, I have added my artwork large scale. I put it on a board that was about 2 meters tall to have a look and see what my work would look like as an art installation piece. Focusing more on scale and how humans are such a small part of the environment, but yet we're called to look after our local space, really brings in the community element that HACER are looking for, as well as stewardship of the environment. Annie Veldekamp is an artist who looks at using stitch to create depth within an interior space, introducing me to ideas of panelling. More research into the site-specific Swansea, whether it be history, culture, or the wildlife. His next experiments from Kelly Olsham look at bringing an imagined interior space into the artwork. I wasn't a fan of these, but it did help me look at composition and understanding colours that I wanted to use. Using composition to pinpoint key areas of my work that could look good together. Nicola Young is another artist I looked at who looks at seascapes and uses layering of different elements to her work. Here I've used flock and foil along with discharge printing. Stitch samples here used to tell a story, like Sharon McCartney's work. Practicing this stitch, I've only realised now that I can draw and my work does look good as a scruffy drawing. So I've continued with that confidence. This composition is from Langland Bay. Not sure it works completely, but it was good for a stepping stone. Here I've looked at embossing into leather, the pebble structures that I've enjoyed seeing, what the shawl washes up, and the natural composition that brings is really interesting to me. Some of the block repeats that I've been looking at doing by hand has really helped me to understand design and patterns, not necessarily the right scale I'm looking for this project. These are visualizations, and this artist here has really inspired me to look into how I get my artwork to become part of the nature. So whether that's bringing the plants through or bringing sunlight through in order to add dimension and the sort of immersive feel to my work. Whilst these next colours are natural and taken from inspiration in the landscape, they're very jewel-like and way too bright for my colour palette, but a very interesting exploration of embellishing. Again, putting my scruffy drawing style into different materials and mediums of laser cutting and illustrated digital works really brings another element of excitement to my sketchbook and my project. The beautiful low tide mark of Langland has really inspired these studies, looking into textures, marks, composition in stitch as well as charcoal. Using different parts of lots of different imagery that I've already done, the florals, the shells and the scrubby mark making, I've looked at turning these marks into stitch, into charcoals and fine liners, as well as then transforming that into something that could be my 50 by 50 sample sizes. Here is colour swatches that I've been looking at different materials, dyeing fabrics myself, as well as screen printing pastes and binders in different shades and colours, mixing, taking good care to mix the correct colours for my colour palette. I'm quite pleased with the way these came out in the end. I also looked at doing them on the OSB board because that's where I was going to be printing onto. Here are some of the designs that I've screen printed. These were just testers to make sure I got the colours right, as well as making my own stencils for the underlying colours. Having developed my stitch through this project, I'm very pleased that I'm more confident with this now, as well as using words and phrases to help me convey a story that I would like to tell. These are half drop repeats that I didn't progress any further, but they did help me with my imagery. Some final designs before looking at that's where they sort of brought in each different element together. these final designs are really showing sort of where I've got my ideas from, potential different techniques. I knew I wanted to do 2 of each different technique, so I used 2 different leather techniques with the embossing, and the embellishing machine came out really nicely, as well as the OSB board and the laser cutting. As a reflection, this project has been really good and tested me in lots of different ways. I've used lots of different techniques, explored things thoroughly. From my original ideas, the outcome is less immersive than I originally would have liked, but it has the potential to scale up, and this might be something that HACER would like to do. These last few pages are little extras that I didn't quite get to go into in full detail in the way that I would have liked, but ideas for the future, and definitely skills that I've learned and will be using for my next few projects. Again, to reflect on bits that I did like, the embellished elements really brings connectivity to my work. The exhibition, when people look at my work, I want them to associate their own personal memories to Langland Bay.